Hello, and we are live. This is Jennie Walker, and welcome to my channel, Jennie Girl's Closet, where we talk all about the resale, retail, styling community, and consignment community. And today I wanted to talk to you about the power of networking to increase your sales on eBay and Poshmark. I just got back from the local Chamber of Commerce meeting here in Pasadena, Walker Viden Luxury Consignment, which I co-own. We just joined the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. We were going to join when we first opened, and it's just one of those things where with all the costs involved in building the business, we just somehow never wrote the check out for $250 to join. But now that we're coming up on our third year, we did think about ways to increase the awareness and start networking for our business so that we can take it to the next level. So we did join the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. I went to my first breakfast this morning. It was bright and early. 7 in the morning. We were at the Pasadena Women's Club. It was full. It was packed with everyone else who was there, even though it was hard for me to get up so early, but I did it. So that's why I have time right now, because I've gone. I've already started my day. I've come back, and I have about 20, 30 minutes I can talk before I have to go into my consignment shop. So being on the West Coast, I know that people have tried to catch me live, and it's hard because I always start so late if they're on the East Coast. So here I am, bright and early on at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. Is this a Wednesday? It's a Wednesday morning. Or is it Thursday? It's a Thursday. It's already Thursday. So anyway, I went, hey, Flippin' Hustler, good morning. I hope you got some sleep. You were up late last night gaining followers or thumbs uppers. I don't want to use the S word. So welcome. I got my first wrench last night from Flippin' Hustler, and I want to give a wrench if I knew how to do it. So I'm going to give you a wrench because you are awesome. And I guess I hope I did it right. Let you be a moderator. So welcome officially. My first moderator, I got my first wrench from you, and now I'm giving my first wrench to you. So welcome. So yeah, I went to the Pasadena Chamber meeting today, and we kind of forget sometimes when we're so focused with online about the power of networking in our own communities. And most small and medium-sized businesses have a chamber of commerce in their communities, so you should definitely check to see if you do. We made it till 3 a.m. Wow, that's amazing. Good for you. I saw you have over 900 subscribers, though, so it certainly paid off. And I said the S word. I don't know what this whole thing is about not saying the word subscribers or typing it, but I think I can say it. So I'm glad you were able to get more subscribers. As someone who's building a channel, I understand about that. But I'm so glad that you're here, and thank you for taking my wrench. Hi there. My first live was literally just watching another one of your videos. I don't catch you live much as I'm on the East Coast, like your channel. Well, thank you. Unique with a J trader. That's so sweet. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm all like poofed. I got all dressed up today. I went to the Chamber of Commerce meeting, and let me tell you what came out of it. And there's there's like a love-hate with the chamber because their mission is to promote businesses, but their mission is to promote businesses within the community of members. And that's the thing that is hard to wrap your head around, is that their entity is meant to promote their members. So you need to be a member in order to be promoted. And once you join, they're happy to share the information about your business to everyone. So I went to the breakfast this morning and I had a little spiel. I could speak for 25 seconds. So I had a little spiel on my that I gave at the chamber. And I'll read you my spiel. I just wrote it real quick and I read it off my phone, and I said, Walker Viden Luxury Consignment can help you turn your closet into cash. Whether you are moving, downsizing, dealing with an estate, or are a shopaholic, we are expert in selling your Louis Vuittons, Chanel's, and Hermes bags and designer clothing, shoes, and accessories for top dollar. And somehow I got that out in 25 seconds, and it worked. And so as a result, I met a number of people that one had consignment items to consign, which is amazing. And also met a man from Pasadena Now, which is one of the local area uh, newspaper news, I'll say news outlets, because they're online only. And I spoke with him about some of the things that they have. It was wonderful. A man from Brian's Cleaners, John Leandro was there. He was the person that got us to join, and we met him almost 3 years ago. But the whole point is they have a whole networking session. So everyone passes their cards around, and you get a chance to say who you are and what you do. And one of the things that was really cool that came out of it is that the woman who runs the Pasadena Women's Club, I was introduced to her by the woman who is the head of the chamber there. And she says, have you ever done a booth? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, a booth. And she says, well, we can do a vendor booth, and you can set up at the chamber meetings when we have all these meetings, obviously not just for women, but women-centric events like the Daughters of the American Revolution, or it's the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce, or it's like the Junior Civitan or something like that. So a lot of women's groups use this space. They rent this space so their meetings can gather in a really professional environment, and they provide the catering. So she says, there's a vendor booth you can do, and we have, different ways that you would have to, compensate us for doing it, but you can prepare like a table and have like samples of what you're selling in your store out for all these women to see. And I just thought that was amazing. I hadn't thought of it. And so, the first thing that went through my mind is I have a portable table. I've got a tablecloth. I could bring in like all the Louis Vuitton, the Chanel. I could bring in some of the best of what we have, and we could do a little mini rolling rack and just have samples. We could sell things on the spot and build the relationships. I'm really I wouldn't even have thought of that if I hadn't gone to the chamber meeting. So I think the key with networking is not just your own ideas, but other people's ideas for you. And, it's a professional group, and some people were like, oh, you have a physical store. I thought you were only online. And so I think it's important, whether we do have a physical store and we're online, that we meet people in the community. So for example, one tip is if you've never tried to source from your local dry cleaner, the dry cleaners are, they have these clothes that have never been picked up. They say pick it up within 30 days. They usually don't do anything after 30 days. It's usually a year or 2 years that something has sat unattended and never paid for and picked up. So the dry cleaners have to get rid of them. And so what we did very, very early on is we cherry picked the things from this one cleaners to sell in our consignment shop, because everything's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be appropriate. If somebody left something, perhaps it's not that valuable, but we found some amazing pieces in this group of dry cleaning that was unclaimed, and we brought it into our store and we're able to sell every piece. So, it's just another different way to think about sourcing. And it never would have occurred to me if the man at the dry cleaner hadn't said, hey, why don't you come look at all this stuff that we have sitting in the back of our store? So that is something we did when we first opened almost 3 years ago. And we haven't done it since. We sold through his things, and then we kind of moved on because we, as we researched, we were thinking, well, I don't know that this is a viable source for luxury, right? Because that's what we specialize in. But it certainly is a viable source for clothes in general. Well, Flippin' Hustler, I'm glad you like your wrench. Thank you for accepting my wrench. Thank you. I have my first moderator. Flippin' Hustler's was there from the beginning, so you never forget your first one. So there you go. And who else is here? Rosie's Closet. Hello. Thank you for joining in. And look, I've got 3 people, 3 thumbs up. That is awesome. Yeah, Todd he really did a yeoman's job yesterday, and just being live and getting people to see what was going on. And I learned a lot, and, about what you can and can't do on YouTube. And so yeah, it was great. So yeah, I think networking is super, super important. not just the chamber. For example, I'm going to be going to a networking event in LA, which is all retail oriented, because I am a subscriber to the it's called the Business of Fashion publication, and they're having a mixer in April in LA. So I'm going to go there and introduce myself to a lot of people, because again, there's so many different sides of reselling, and people in the retail environment, whether or not they have, it isn't just about people who have luxury items themselves that they may own. They could be part of a retail chain or some sort of retail store, a local designer who has samples, or they have, some sort of inventory that they may need to move. A lot of people, I've learned, a lot of the brands, when they have sample sales, is because they're strapped for cash and all of their money is tied up in inventory. And I was told that there are some people, some designers, I won't say who they are, but they'll have sample sales for the sole purpose of being able to pay payroll, because sometimes the margins are that small in retail. And they've got to liquidate, and they've got to get this merch and turn it into cash. So, there could be some people that have, really good inventory that might be appropriate for our store. I don't know. But the whole idea is just to get out there and network. And a lot of times it's just raising awareness. Being quoted in newspaper articles is another way to get the word out. It also adds credibility. I've been quoted in a really big article that the Board of Fashion put out, and had to do with authentication in the lawsuit between Chanel and the Real and the other one, I think it's called What Goes Around Comes Around. They're all part of that big Chanel lawsuit. And I was quoted on that about authentication and some things involved around that. So that is something that happened because they searched for us online, they found us, and then I responded to the inquiry to be interviewed. And I was terrified. I'm like, I hope I say something smart enough. Hope I'm quote worthy. And it turned out really well. So networking at events, whether it's the chamber, whether it's social clubs, social groups, networking with professional organizations. It can be any industry. It does not have to be retail related or resale related. As a matter of fact, it's probably better if it isn't. It's the old saying, if you want to see whales, don't go whale watching. Go deep sea fishing, then you'll see whales. Because that's what happened to me when I was in Hawaii years ago, is couldn't find one whale when we went whale watching, but we found them when we went on a deep sea fishing or like a boat tour. That's when we found the whales. But the idea is to not limit yourself, and don't try to think for yourself, well, who's going to be interested in what I'm doing? You have no idea of what's going through people's minds. And the idea is that people are going to self-select. They're going to self-identify themselves if they're interested in what you're doing. And as a matter of fact, at the Chamber of Commerce meeting today, a woman said, I do this, and this. Oh, and we have a songwriters meeting once a month. I went, songwriting? Wait, I sing, I write songs. And so she doesn't know that. And I made sure before I left that I would get connected with her so that I could figure out what in the heck she's doing. So I'm self-selecting myself because I learned she does not only photography, but she has something to do with a songwriter's night in town. So I'm going to look into that. So, networking is just really important. And again, it doesn't have to be the meetup group that's a bunch of other resellers. I mean, we are networking all the time, just here online in this reselling community. But I would say, short of meeting someone that's here in the chat at a professional event like the eBay Open or the Posh Fest or something like that, I'm probably not going to meet anyone here in person because they're not in my community. So I think when you think of networking, there's networking within your community and networking outside of your community, and it's all important. Everyone needs to know that you're reselling, that you're looking for inventory. I think they'll be fascinated to know that people do this and make a full-time living at it. Let's see, been dozens of times and saw a whale once. Exactly. It's like the watch pot never boils syndrome is the same with trying to find a whale during a whale watch. It's pretty funny. I'm planning on going to source at the men's warehouse off of their clearance rack. Awesome. I have sourced many an item off the clearance rack at not at a Men's Warehouse, but at other places because, it's 75 off. And, in terms of sourcing, there's the full price, right? And then every price all the way to the end. And so what point are you going to find your inventory, right? I've even bought things full price and made money on them. I have my big Chanel story on that, but we'll save that for another day. So anyway, the networking is so important because after this morning's breakfast, I have, tons of things to follow up with there. And the key is not to go once and then don't go. The key is that you have to go all the time. So people know that when you walk in the room, hey, that's Jennie who has Walker Viden Luxury Consignment. Okay, she's the woman. If you've got, someone's passed away, you've got, a bunch of Chanel handbags in there. She's the girl you're going to want to see, so that people always, when they see me, they should think about the luxury consignment shop that I have. As a matter of fact, I took my Louis Vuitton backpack with me. And when I was introduced, I said, I got to make sure I bring my backpack so y'all know what I do. And so it was kind of funny, but, I was showing off the product that we sell. So I think the whole idea of just being who you are, being out in the public, it's so insular, this reselling and consignment. I mean, even in my own store, we don't have employees. We outsource to contractors a few times, but I am literally in my store every day. It's very insular. When I'm reselling at home, I'm in my home every day. So I don't get out much. And the key to growing a business is to work on your business and not work in your business. And so, in the early days, it's so easy to let everything else, fall by the wayside, put all your energies in growing your business, and you're so focused on that, you can't see the bigger picture. And that's because we've gone into something with too limited a set of resources. And so we were never really able to do it the way they would suggest, right? With an official budget, and you've got all the money in place and everything is organized and you've got money for employees. We didn't do it that way. We were completely naive about how to start a consignment shop. But what was great and what we didn't know we could count on was our determination and our passion and our will to win and not fail at opening a new business. And we are at that critical point where you have to take it to the next level or you will fail. And I didn't give up 3 years of my life to fail at a consignment shop. This is the critical point to push through, no matter how hard it is, no matter how, and you're thinking, well, how hard can it be? The issues that surround this are lack of awareness. We didn't have some humongous advertising budget to get the word out. We used social media a little bit. We did a website. I put ourselves on, Google Maps and all those places. But what I failed to do was get out in public, in the flesh, press palms, and get in front of people, say, this is who I am. This is where our store is. And this is what we do. And please, you should know about us. And that is totally our fault for not doing more of that. And I think the consequences of not networking are you grow at a slower pace. It's not that we're not growing, and it's not like we didn't work on our business, but we're growing as fast as we're growing. It's slower than if we were doing more of this from the beginning. And so, you just basically lesson learned, right? I didn't have a YouTube channel. I was terrified to get up in front of everyone and do this. Here I am with, 6 inches of roots, gray hair, and I've gained 60 pounds since anyone saw me in New York City. And I finally said to myself, this is ridiculous. I've got to grow my channel. I've got to let people know what's up. I want to do this. And if I wait until I'm thin and I wait until my hair is done and if I wait until it's perfect, I will never do it. My glasses aren't even straight. And yet here I am talking about networking, such as it is, in hopes that people will understand how important it is. And I think being a reseller and working and owning and building a consignment shop is a very lonely task. And so the thing that gets me through is my absolute love and passion for clothes, like this piece behind me, this vintage Moschino piece with, all the details, since I am a Moschino collector and expert. I mean, that makes my day. I can just stare at that all day long and be happy, but that's not going to pay my bills. And so I have to be realistic about what I did do right and what I failed to do correctly from the beginning with the consignment shop. Hello, everyone that's joined the chat. Look, it's Lance Shark Picker again. Well, he's been following me around. Like, this is the third time I've seen him. That's terrific. I really appreciate it. So I really thought it was important to bring home the point that we're all here to win. We're all here to be successful. We cannot do it stuck alone, stuck in a silo and by ourselves. We have to get out and let everyone know what we're doing outside of the YouTube community. You have to press hands, say hello, get in the community, let people know who you are. I actually know who our city councilman is, which is really, really exciting. I actually know who he is. He knows who I am. He's been to our store many times, and is someone that is aware of our business in town. And networking, and there's also politics in business, which I wasn't aware of. I thought, I'm opening up a small business. I no longer have to deal with corporate politics. That's true, but I now deal with small business politics, which I hadn't even thought about, because you never really escape it. So it's important that people in Pasadena know we're here. We have won awards with Pasadena Weekly, as we were the best new business voted when we first opened. And then since then we've won, we're reader recommended, which is basically second, first runner up Miss America. Means you didn't win, but you got mentioned as in the reselling and local women's clothing area. But it's not enough. It's not enough to win those awards. It's not enough to be in my store, stuck there, working with these clothes all I do. I have to be out in public. I have to be meeting the other business people. And I also have to be supporting what they're doing. And the whole thinking around the chamber is that you aren't there to promote yourself. You're there to promote yourself and see if anyone else in the group, you can help promote them as well, and promote them either through introductions or, learning about their service to see if it's right for your business. And there was everyone at this chamber meeting, from a woman who has service dogs, and this is beautiful poodle. I've never seen a poodle as a service dog, and this is like gorgeous dogs. First person I met was the dog that ate my badge that said oatmeal and fruit for breakfast. And someone who did photography, someone insurance people, finance people, real estate people. People can help you. One was someone into fitness, someone had a hair salon. So it's sort of like walking into the airport is the range of people at the chamber meetings. And so I was really, really excited. And I think because I've now been in business almost 3 years now with my business partner. We will have been opened. We took over our lease in July, so it would be 3 years in July, with our first actually open to the public in August. So 3 years in August. And when I went to the chamber meeting before, way back then, I thought it was odd. I didn't understand it. I didn't feel comfortable there. I didn't feel like I had a lot to say. But I can tell you, after almost 3 years in business, I have a whole lot to say. And I am not shy to say who I am, say hello, share my pitch, and see if this is something that's going to work for us. And I know it will. And I will tell you this. But before I tell you this, I'm going to see who else is here. Rosie's Closet, Pearl is Precious. What's really nice, I want to say, as part of networking is the reason our store just made a big sale on that new platform called StockX. I got an email from the woman who happened to be in the California area in town for a friend's wedding. And so she was meeting with consignment shop owners and just sending out cold emails. Hey, I'm in town, want to meet you guys. And I'm like, oh, I know about StockX. I've read about them. Yeah, come by and say hello. So she came by, she told us all about her service, And we decided that we would try StockX. And we had some glitches in getting started because I was using Safari instead of Chrome and lots of problems. But we finally got our listings up. We had 2 listings up. And within 24 hours or 48 hours, our Louis Vuitton backpack sold for $1,800 on their site. And it's the same backpack we'd had on eBay. And we'd reduced the price, we'd reduced the price down to $1,500. We had gotten a $1,400 offer that we almost took. And we're like, no, let's try to get 15. So here's a brand new platform. We've only been on it a few days. We sell an $1,800 backpack, and the backpack for $1,800, $300 or $400 more than we were able to get interest on eBay. And it happened in a couple of days. That is from networking. That is from saying, yes, come into my store. Let's say hello. This woman also said she might want to interview me. And I also told her that I might want to interview her on my podcast on Apple iTunes called Closet Conversations about their StockX service. And, I'm just thrilled that we've already sold something. Now, the sale isn't complete. I got to buy a box, mail it to them, and do what they do. But yeah, that's how powerful networking is. It's meeting people, learning about their services, whether you want to use them or not. I talked to the woman who is the sales rep for this thing called Interruptee, which is the authentication app and machine that literally takes microscopic pictures of the texture of the leather and the hardware to help you determine if your items are real. So I had a long chat with her, and she said she already knew about me. She was part of my Facebook group, and yes, she'd love to be interviewed on my podcast. So if y'all don't know about my podcast, I will send a link to that because I have done very little to promote it. But I find that it's a lot easier to talk about what I know when I'm not on the pressure to be on video like I am right now. So I've got tons of content on there about how to open up a consignment shop, all about, Poshmark, eBay. I've got a couple of years of content on there. And I'm going to send you the link right now to the whole channel. Copy link. And I would love it if you would, take a listen, subscribe, anything you'd like to do. I'm coming at this from every angle. So there it is. That's my link to my podcast. Yeah. So I'd love to, love for y'all to take a listen. Yeah, StockX is, what's interesting about StockX is they only take 19 brands, which I think is, so they're incredibly focused. And I think it's not a bad thing because we should be only taking 19 brands in our store because the rest are not selling. They're what I call filler. And it's like a happy accident when something sells that's not that really high-end brand that people are looking for. So yeah, let's see what else is going in the chat. Oh, I got an awesome from Flippin' Hustler with his powerful wrench in his hand. He's the only one with a wrench. I'm not sure what you do with that, but enjoy whatever that is. Let's see. Rebecca closed school yesterday. They're getting closing schools here. Why is it the weather? Is it that horrible weather that we hear? I'm ready to get, okay, yeah. So terrific. So don't know if y'all have any questions. I think I've kind of made my point about networking, and I hope that all of you, if you've not thought about your local chamber or have made a conscious effort to network in every possible scenario. And everyone should have a business card. And if you don't, I suggest you work on that right away. I ran out of business cards, so what I did was I took a picture of the business card and then just texted it to like 4 or 5 people while I was in their presence so that they would have my information. So next time I'll take more pictures. But you know what I've learned? When you take too many cards, you don't give any away. So when you take fewer, you end up, it's being more productive. I don't know why it is that way. Winter Storm, Wesley. Okay. That's amazing. So yeah, network into your heart's desire. Go to everything in your community. Have business cards. Make sure people can know about what you do. And it's already paid off for us after one meeting this morning. I will be going to the Chamber of Commerce luncheons. They also have after work mixer. So they have things basically morning, noon, and night so that there's something for everyone's schedule. Age Goodness, nice to see you. How did you build your business? I would love to sell luxury brands, but don't have the capital. The way you would do is well, I do luxury. And if you're online, make sure people know that you do luxury. You do Louis Vuitton, you do Chanel, you do Hermes, you do Christian Dior. You basically let people know that that's what you do, and you start taking it on consignment while from home. I would have a contract drawn up, so it's very professional. Um, and I would just start from home, and you just build on it one at a time through the networking we talked about. You just get one person who's got luxury, even mid, I'll call it mid luxury, right? So Hermes is like top of the line, Cartier, and then you've got like Louis Vuitton, Chanel. But I'd say mid tier luxury is like your Dior's of the world, your Fendi's of the world. So I would find, I would get the word out. I would let people know on social media. I would tell all your friends, network in the community, and let them know I have a brand new luxury consignment business, and I'm online only. Let me give you my card. If you have anything, let me know. You drop that contract. You make it professional. If you're concerned about where to meet someone, you can meet them in your home. You could meet them out in public, or you could meet them at their place, and offer like home pickups and things like that. But yeah, it's easy. You just have to get started and decide that that's what you're going to do, and not take anything else that isn't a luxury brand. How we built it was basically, we said that's what we did. And so when people brought us clothes, we told them what we were looking for on our website, what brands we wanted, and turned away things that weren't, luxury. And one of the hardest things in the world is to turn away inventory. And I have found that I'm too much of a softie. I'm such a softie that people they want to do a song and dance and like convince you to take their things a lot. And I'm a sucker because I'll be like, okay, let's give it a try. I have nothing to lose. Well, 3 years into it, I do have something to lose. I have time to lose. I have energy. I have resources, processing time. And it doesn't make sense to process something that's not luxury. It takes you just as much time to process something that's $1,000 as $1. So we've learned to really be conservative with our resources that way. Do you only sell on consignment? We occasionally buy outright. We've started, it's a new program of expansion because people will come to our store and they'll sit down and go, here's my Louis Vuitton handbag. I want to take my family to Disney World. I need $1,000. And we would, in the beginning, just turn away people and go, well, that's not what we do. We're consignment. We don't pay cash up front. But what we've learned is that there are some people that the consignment model is not cash fast enough for them, and that it's actually in our best interest to go ahead and buy something up front. Generally, they would get less than if we consigned it for them. And so that's not a bad thing because we know we're going to sell it. So it's not a big deal as long as we have the money in the bank to pay for the Louis Vuitton or pay for the Chanel up front. They're happy they get their money because it's basically a lost opportunity if they need money up front and you're going to be like, no, they're just going to go to the next store who's going to buy it from them. And as much Chanel that's out there in the marketplace, thousands and thousands and thousands. If you go on the Real and you click Chanel handbag, you'll get like 5,000 listings, There's no shortage, but there is a shortage, right? There's no shortage in the world at large, but there is a shortage in terms of Chanel does not come in my store every day. It just doesn't. As a matter of fact, it's very sporadic. And so I now know it's called opportunity cost. If I have the opportunity to buy 3 Chanel handbags from somebody, I need to find a way to do it because that is an amazing opportunity that I don't want to lose because the next person is just going to buy it from them. Pawn shops buy handbags now. People look at handbags like used cars. Now, clothes are different. It's absolutely putting yourself at risk to buy designer clothing versus a handbag because the handbags are like automobiles. They're much harder to move in general unless you have very specific pieces. But handbags, it's a safe bet. I have a few pieces on the Real Reels, but they have sat there forever. Well, I'd get them back then. Get them back, end your consignment, and try someone else. I would try a ThreadUp's Lux program. It's a different audience. I would definitely get it back, or I would try to sell it yourself on eBay, on ThreadUp. Sell it yourself through. I would just get it back. If it's not moving, it's not going to move. They sell all their clothes like immediately. They sell, if pretty much the way it works is they sell their clothes within literally the minute they post them. They post twice a day. There's people sitting there, nothing but refreshing on their site, waiting for them to post certain things. If your thing is not sold the first day it's posted, something's wrong with it. It means it's undesirable or it's overpriced. And they do not overprice things at the Real Real. So it has to be something that's not as desirable and for their group of customers. So I would say get it back. Don't waste any more time with that platform and find a new one because there's too many out there. And since we just learned that we sold our Louis Vuitton backpack on StockX within 2 days at $1,800, and we're only getting offers of $1,300 and $1,400 or less on eBay, it's like it's a different marketplace. It's a cooler, hipper, more. It's male-oriented site. This is a man's backpack, So it's called the Michaels backpack. And yeah, I mean, it's a different audience. So you have to understand that the Poshmark audience, the eBay audience, the ThreadUp audience, the StockX, the Tradesy, the Real Real, the Vistari Collective, every one of these sites have a different core audience. The Depops, the Macaris. I mean, this is not the same person. So you have to understand that when you're trying to figure out where to place your item for sale. I call it retail triage. That's my word I came up with. Retail. You heard of retail arbitrage? This is retail triage. You're trying to figure out where's the quickest, fastest, most efficient way to get the most for your item, not the least. It's bad English. My mom, she'd come up from the grave and slap me if she heard that. This is where to get the most for your money, right? Not the least. And I have no problem when people come into my consignment shop and they say, I'm really trying to get X amount of dollars for this thing. And depending on what it is, I'll be like, the only way you're going to get $2,000 out of a $2,200 bag is to sell it yourself. We're not the right outlet for you. And I'm always happy to address people's real desires for what they want to get out of a bag and know if I can fulfill that or not, because I don't want someone to be disappointed because I wasn't able to sell something because none of us were being really honest up front. You've got to be very clear. And I'm much better at that than I was. That old softy I was in the beginning. I was, I wasn't clear. I'd give anything a shot. I'm like, hey, nothing to lose. And what I've learned from all that is that it's a big old waste of time to take in things that aren't going to sell, even if the person's charming and even if, 10 of their things are horrible and one is good, moderately good. It really doesn't serve you to even start a relationship with that person. You have me saying Real Real. Yeah, it's true. The realreal.com. You should check it out. They're if you don't know about them, you should. I've sold Chanel and Poshmark. Excellent. Hey, Misha Renee. Thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. This is like one of my Flip and Hustler. I had the most people when you got your friends on the first time, but this is the first time without you calling in your friends, or maybe you did. You didn't tell me. We have a lot of viewers. Like I have 7 whole viewers or something going on. So that's very exciting for me as I build my channel. So yeah, networking is super key. Learning about the different platforms. As a matter of fact, I even have charts written out because I'm a very visual learner. And so I have a lot running around my head. But when I get like the whiteboards or those disposable Post-it things, I don't know what you call them, and I'll write out, things I'm thinking about. And I'll be like, okay, how do like supply chains and things like that? Where are all my options? Where do things come from? How do I get the good stuff through? There's actually now, if you don't know about it, there are wholesale distributors for luxury products now. The problem with all of these distributors is that the quality of their bags is about a C plus, and the really really good stuff, they either don't have it, or if they have it, they're selling it themselves, and they're finding ways of disposing of these, C, D, E level bags. And these are the bags that are like, decades old. The leather's really horrible. Yes, it's a Louis Vuitton. Yes, it's real, but like no one's going to want to carry it unless they have it completely re-leathered. And then what's the point? Yeah, I'm not impressed with a lot of the wholesalers, and there's no room for profit. It's really not. Any kind of wholesaler or distributor has basically, they're making their profit the minute they sell to you, and they don't really care if you make any money on it from them. They've sort of convinced you. We've had a couple of wholesale people be like, "Oh, this Chanel handbags, it's only $2,500. Really? I'm gonna pay $2,500 for a bag that maybe I can sell for $2,600? Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen." So, the only way to be able to evaluate stuff like that is to really know your product, know what's going on in the marketplace, and be able to walk away from these opportunities to get to Chanel, and we'll find it another way. We all know each other. That's cool. I'm here because of Flippin' Hustler. He's the best, isn't he? Misha Renee, Rosie's Closet. I really appreciate him very much. And I can't wait to see what he does with his logo, with his hair flipping. He should have the hair flipping, like, flipping like with the, maybe dress up like Elvis or something. I don't know. It'd be awesome. But yeah. So anyway, that is all I have for today, because it is almost 11:15 and I have to open up my store. So thank you so much for joining in. I know it was nice and short. I usually go on for, yes, but it's been 41 minutes. Wow, that's amazing. But thank you, everyone. If you have not subscribed, please do. If you liked what I had to say, please give it a thumb up. And if you comment below, the algorithm loves that. So let me know what you thought. If you have any questions, where you're from, that'd be great. And I look forward to seeing you again. And I promise to do more of these in the morning for me, in hopes that I can reach more people. And that's it. And I hope everyone has a terrific day. And remember, network. See you then.